Hello and welcome to a special edition of the New Watchers on the Wall. And we did something incredibly special for you guys today. We have some new guests, and of course, they're in person, not just calling in today, because we wanted to step it up because we just hit the 1,000 subscriber threshold. We hit 400 in, I think, a week or something like that, additional ones. So we got to give it up to the new watchers on the wall. Got to give it up to the fans. Got to give it up to the people just for subscribing and just showing us love and just keeping us motivated to do these videos. And that's why we want to do something new. And our special guest today, we got our brother, Dr. Henry M. Carter. Say what's up to the people.
Greetings, everyone.
And we got our friend, Margot. If you've been, say what's up to the people, Margot.
What's up? What's up?
And if you follow any of our videos about House of the Dragon, you are familiar with Margot. We was watching that House of the Dragon consistently and regularly. And we're going to start off just talking about like our favorite moment from this particular episode. And then we're going to transition into whether or not our theories have changed based on episode 4. And then we're jumping right into the subscribers' comments and opinions. And we're going to answer y'all questions to the best of our abilities. So we're going to start off with Margot. What was your favorite moment in the episode?
Okay, my favorite moment is Daddy Jim Bean yet again neglecting his children. I feel like it doesn't matter what happens, that he always just likes to neglect his children. Even if
Let's play
his
it.
children don't call him out. Okay, let's play.
Let's play a little bit of it because you might be right. So let's listen up to see what Margot's talking about.
If it's out there, you do what you want.
Hey, listen, you gotta stay inside. Whoever's on that ambulance, you'll be putting them in danger if we have to worry about you, okay? I need you to tell me you understand.
I understand.
Julie?
Yeah.
I feel like Boyd should have just been like, listen, I know your father abandoned you again.
Again.
I need you not to go. And then even Randall looked back like, damn.
Crazy. So what are your thoughts on it, Margot? What are your thoughts about him?
Well, okay, I'm gonna actually tie this to a real life debate. So I don't know if you're familiar with the debate that's out right now on Instagram and TikTok, but a lot of people who are married and aren't married have been talking about this debate of who comes first, your wife or your kids.
Ooh.
And for Daddy Jim, there's no competition. It's his wife at the end of the day. He says, I don't care about none of my kids. I will abandon them. I'm gonna do whatever I can for my wife. So I know where Jim stands on that with his wife. But I don't know why. Like, even the oldest daughter, she was like, Dad, you need to get your stuff together because I'm not doing this again. And he's like, okay, got it, clear.
She's well within her right to say that. Like, I'm
well
not
within her
crazy.
right. He cannot say, right. He cannot say, oh, you didn't communicate with me. I didn't know you needed me in this way. No, she was very clear on her communication. And he just continues to neglect them. And Boyd, the amazing man and father that he is, was like, let me take care of the situation because I don't want Lil Ethan again opening up that damn door. Again.
No
Like,
wonder
how
he
many
was
months have
really
you been in
close.
town? You're gonna open that damn door for a goat? Anyway.
Man, we was talking about that in our last video. We said this boy Ethan need a whooping. He didn't
Mhm.
open that door 3 times.
I told you not to
Open
open
that
that
door.
door.
So I mean, interesting perspective for sure, right there. And you know, that leads us to, I guess, Candace and I's, and then we'll get Brother Carter's. So, Candace, what was your moment where you were like, this episode is just interesting to you, or a moment that stood out?
Well, just when Victor read Sarah for filth in that doorway. Like it was just it was just so perfect to me. It's like, dang, I didn't know you had it in you, Victor. Like, that is crazy.
Yeah, Victor's not playing. Let's peek at that real quick.
Inside the houses. We pretended that we were home again. She always liked this one the best, and I never knew why.
You came here with your sister?
My mother, too, but they died. Just like Nathan. Except I didn't murder them.
This dude Victor is hilarious, but I think that
It's-
go ahead. What are you gonna say,
I
Candace?
think he just gave Sarah her 13th reason why. Like, it's just like, God. And he just kept coming with it. I know at the end, she was like, you know what? It's not worth it anymore. I should just go jump. I should just jump.
Yeah, Victor definitely episode was really showcasing how he's not the best at mixing his words together or mincing his words, and he's gonna tell you how he feels regardless of the situation. And it kind of goes with Minds with Victor, and then I'm gonna share why I think that this may have happened. So I'm gonna play Minds for you guys real quick. And Minds was the scene where Victor was inside of the tent with with Sarah, and she asks, "Why do you have me in this tent in this basement with you?" And he breaks it down. Let's check that out.
You need me.
Because I don't want to do this alone. I'm gonna have to remember some scary things. You're the scariest person here, so it won't scare you.
And to me, I think they're setting something up with that. Not just it being funny. The look on Sarah's face every time he made those statements and kind of insulted her. I think they're setting it up where Sarah is either going to be the person that volunteers to be the bait for this trap, or at some point throughout this show, she is going to sacrifice herself in an effort to kind of redeem herself. So that's why I wanted to share that one as well.
But I gotta say that his acting is so great
It
in
is.
this scene because
Yes,
he
I had the same
intentionally-
comment.
Like, I don't think he's saying it to be rude or mean. I just think that that's really how he feels. He's just very earnest.
Yeah, I mean, good actor, all of that good stuff.
Mhm.
And then, brother Carter, what was yours?
My favorite scene in this episode was at the end when Randall was on top of the ambulance and he woke up after we all thought he was dead.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like he's been left out there as a trap.
Why was that your favorite part? I got some thoughts on that too. Why was that your favorite part, Carter?
Reason it was one of my favorite part because it was one of those unexpected scenes. Some of the things that's been in this episode outside, some of the things Victor said that, which really is in Victor's format of not having a filter. Victor doesn't have a filter, so he would say those kind of things. But what I liked about this particular episode is that it was a shock and awe. We were headed down one path and then they took us on a whole different path. We thought that Randall was done and off the show, and they shared with us there's a little bit more life left in Randall, literally.
Mm-hmm. I like that. And to me, that scene was really interesting because I think that they're setting it up, and we talked about this. Now, I guess we can just delve into it a little bit. I couldn't believe that Boyd left Randall behind. And the monsters gave him the key, and then Boyd was like, "Let me get on out of here," because I thought that was an opportunity for Boyd to run over some monsters, kill some monsters, and stuff like that. But one of the reasons I felt like they may have let Randall live is because now it creates this turmoil because he's alive and he's going to tell people Boyd left my ass behind. And he's going to share that with the people, and it could probably create this dissension in the group amongst the people to where now it creates a problem or issue. So I thought that was very interesting and very, that they did decide to let him live. What did you guys think about that?
Well, I think that it's the old saying that the needs of the many outweighs the needs of the few of the one. Boyd had to make a decision of saving more people or taking a chance of them being victim to the monster. I mean, even if he tried to run the monsters over, the way they were positioned over Randall's body, he would have had to be a precision driver not to run over Randall's head. So he had to make a decision of saving the many or losing the one, and that just shows Boyd's leadership. He's able to make decisions under a tight situation, and that's based on, I believe, his military background.
Yes,
Mm,
and I'll also say too, in addition to that, doctor saving many people, but also saving his people because Tabitha and Jim are his people. Randall
Mhm.
is out on the charter bus. He's by himself. He's been a jerk to every single person. Yeah, he has trauma. He's been through all that stuff, but so has everybody else who's in that town. And Randall has continually said that he's here for his own agenda and he's not a team player. So I think, yes, it was the many people, but it was also as well Boyd was like, I gotta save my people too. And Jim and
mm,
Tabitha are his people.
mm. I like that. I like that a lot. So, moving forward with this episode, how has episode 4 impacted your theory about what is going on in the show? And anybody can start off with that. Has it impacted or changed your mind about what is going on in this show?
Yes. Okay. Let me pop off on this. There has to be some connection with Tabitha, Jim, and the two kids, and Victor's sister, and Victor's mom and dad, because it's just too many coincidences with the bracelet. Number one, it's they both have two children. I know they had Thomas, but they both had two children. They both have the same anniversary song. Oh, that's our song. So I'm not sure if it's some type of weird mind thing to where they're like two parallel families but older, but I feel like there's some connection with Tabitha and Jim and Victor's family. Like there's too many parallels, and then for her to just respawn any Pokemon players here, for her to respawn right near Victor's dad's house and all of that, and then come right back into town with Victor's dad. There has to be some connection there, especially with her being the Ankui as well as Victor's mom being the Ankui. Like, there's just too many parallels. So, my thought process has changed. It was solidified with the bracelet and the anniversary song, thinking there has to be some parallel between these two families. Oh, we can't hear you. Okay.
I think those things are more like triggers to kind of get her to react in a certain way to get her back there, or to bring, other people that need to be there to the town. So this whole setup can possibly reset itself again. All the
But think
people who
about
need to
too,
be
like
there, there needs
Ethan.
to be certain roles that certain people play
Yeah.
in order to
Yeah.
be in order for things to reset. Because I kind of
Yeah.
that's what's happening. I had a theory about there being, these time paradoxes and things in reincarnation. And I think I'm still, on that line. If you look at the drawings um of the floods and the dates under the house, I feel like there have been different um catastrophes that have happened in this town. It's like when you study like pre-colonial art, there's this concept of the five creations and four devastations, and then these devastations comes and then the a next creation comes, like the next, it's like a creation myth. So I think that's what's happening here. Like there's needs to
Yeah.
be a catalyst for this town, everybody to be massacred for it to reset again. And there are these things that are put into place, these hints, whether it be a song or a bracelet or a dress or a ventriloquist dummy or something, for them to put people in places where they react a certain way, and they fulfill their roles in order for things to be reset.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree with that too, especially because it's like Ethan and Victor are the same. They both don't have a filter at all. Julie is the same as Victor's sister. She ain't listen. She ended up dead. Julie don't listen to nobody. Um,
Yeah.
so I would agree with the reincarnation, and maybe the two worlds are just coming together, or the two spheres are, because they are so triggering to each other, right? I mean, we saw how triggering it was to Victor's dad. That's why they're back in town, because he wouldn't let Tabitha out of the car, and they got in the car accident, and they're back again because he was so triggered by everything. So I can see that for sure. But they're
I
just,
also think
yeah.
that the uh the monsters, because I kept racking my brain about like what's the point of the monsters? If we're right about these theories about things being reincarnated, what's the point of the monsters? Right. And so I was thinking to myself, well, maybe the monsters are another kind of what do you call it? Uh Another way for the town to be wiped out, just like the flood. Maybe the flood did. Maybe the monsters were the next thing to cause everybody in the town to, be to die. But also, and I was thinking, well, why have the monsters been there so long? And that's where I got back to our discussion about Victor not being killed in the massacre.
Yeah.
So it can't reset. We
Yeah.
can't get a new big bad. We can't get a new boss, for this town until Victor goes.
Yeah, and some people, and I'll say this quickly, and I'll let you go, Brother Carter. Some people were kind of, I'm sorry, I'm muted. Some people were kind of theorizing that the reason why things haven't changed is because of Victor, and because he is not dead. He was supposed to die, and he didn't die, so the system is not able to reset itself. And some people theorize that when they said kill the boy, that they were talking about Victor, which is, could go with the whole reincarnation thing, so to speak. So, but you go ahead, Brother Carter. Did this episode change your theory, and if not, what is your theory moving forward with the show?
Well, as I've said before, I really believe that this is a collective virtual simulation, that these individuals are all together because they are part of a experiment. All of them have some type of psychological problem. That's why they're constantly seeing hallucinations. And some of them are sharing these hallucinations because they are all in this hive type of environment. Those monsters, in my sentiments, are manifestations of the dark parts of who they are as individuals. It's a manifestation of their hidden evils, their bad parts that need to be purged. Yeah, I see Victor differently. I see Victor as a linchpin. Is something innocent about Victor's survival. He is an individual who had been able to survive the first atrocities, and now he's with this other group. He has something unique in him. It's something about Victor that this reality can't get rid of, because Victor is a key for everybody to be liberated. He is that key. That's why he's kind of like the guardian that can tell them what tree to go to and what tree not to go to and how to survive in this environment. So I don't see him as this evil. I see him as this safeguard that's a savior, that's a linchpin between the first group of people and the second group of people. And somehow he's going to help deliver them out of this reality.
Mm, mm,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I like that because, and the whole Victor thing, talking about that, it kind of takes me to something that somebody said on the channel, and this was Tony 8409. He said that I think that that's not Victor's dad, referring to Henry, the guy they brought back in the town, and he said he painted those pictures at the house, and Tabitha helped him get back there, and he says, and he is the guy with the puppet Victor is scared of, but I could be wrong. And one of the
Mm,
things that kind of happened with this episode, and I was one of the people that was going back and forth with two or three main theories, that would be in some type of simulation, or is this some type of witchcraft type situation and demonic things are going on, and there has to be like a blood sacrifice every so many years or whatever the case may be. But we were on a live on another channel, and somebody was talking about how he felt like the dummy may be the main thing that's leading this stuff. And he was pointing out some interesting stuff. And I'm gonna play a little bit of that clip, but I want you guys he was saying that look how the dummy is bossing. Is it Christopher around? How he was
Yeah.
bossing Christopher around, how the dummy is sitting in the more masculine chair, and how it looked like he was telling Christopher something to do something, and Christopher didn't want to do. So I'm gonna try to play that real quick to show y'all what I was talking about, or what he was talking about in that video.
Remember, Christopher started spending more and more time alone. And one day,
And he was saying he felt like the dummy was telling him what to do or to do something, and Christopher didn't want to do it, but felt like he had to do it. And which was kind of interesting. I wonder if Christopher had something to do with that initial wiping out that occurred. Not saying that he maybe killed them himself, but did he do something similar to what we saw in the colony house, where that person let the monster into the colony house, and did he do something that made the people get exposed? During that, and especially at that time, they didn't have the talisman. So, but
Christopher's the one with the book, right? Is that the same?
yeah, he's the guy to be drawn in a book like Jade.
Yeah, yeah. So I remember a few episodes. I don't know if it was this season or last season, but Victor told that story and he was like, Christopher was acting really weird. And mom said, we're going to hide in different spots tonight because of
Mhm.
Christopher. And then that's the night where him and his sister did the whole thing and the sister left. But
Yep.
Victor specifically said his mom said we're going to hide in a different spot tonight because of Christopher. For
Yep.
sure. So you're
Mhm.
you're spot on with that, I would say.
Yeah, because I'm wondering if, because somebody was saying, what if this evil spirit, or like the man in the yellow, transferred his spirit into the doll, not necessarily like on no Chucky stuff, but the doll seemed to be like, because now we have to go on this mission to find this doll, which is what they're probably going to be doing in the next couple of episodes. And I'm curious to see what role this doll is going to play, because I'm glad he's in here, because he was one of the things that they showed in season 2, and one of the few things that they're bringing back in season 3, because there was a lot of things that they showed in season 2 that it seems to me they just dropped the ball on it, and are not going to address it. So I'm glad that they're doing that with the doll. um Another person commented, they said, am I the only one who thinks that the person on the phone, Thomas, might be connected to the same people who talked to Sarah? Both of them giving them information about the future before it happens. Like when they told Sarah 2 cars were going to come, just like Thomas told Ethan the ambulance was going to come, which I thought was an interesting thing. And when I thought about Ethan constantly running out of the door, initially I was mad, but then I kind of thought about it. When you think about it, remember when Ethan ran out for the goat? One of the
Mhm.
monsters was literally standing right outside of his door. Like,
Mm.
he didn't have to get found. It was anticipating him opening the door. And then the same thing occurred when he ran outside, when that phone call said your mom is outside. And it makes me wonder, are they trying to get Ethan? Are they purposely trying to get Ethan, by telling him that information? If Ethan has some role to play in this. What do y'all think about that?
Well, I think these monsters are very strategic in their approach, and they're looking for the weakest link and the most vulnerable person. And they know right now, because Ethan is young, he's very emotionally unstable. His mother is gone at this point. He's been traumatized by all these events. They are able to easily sway him because his logical reasoning is not as developed as everyone else. So they're using him as a weak point to try to penetrate this circle amongst the people.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that. And then someone was saying that I'm gonna read his. He has a kind of a long one, but I'm gonna try to read some of it because I thought it was pretty interesting. I'm trying to find it on my phone. Um, and he says, when this series is over, I don't think anyone will escape the town. He says, I think Boyd and the rest of the town, those who are still living there, will become the new monsters of the town. They will be part of the Farmville 2022. Boyd will be the new Smiley. They are grooming him because the lead monster to terrorize the next cycle of human sacrifices. The psycho theory keeps gaining ground. We see it with the shared experiences that characters are having with previous occupants of the town: Jay, Christopher, Tabitha, Miranda. I think the individual things we see each person going through are all part of the cycle and mean absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things. Victor is the wild card and the key to everything happening in this town. Also, Tilly ain't supposed to be there. She found the town, whereas others are drawn to the town, which is interesting. What do y'all think about Victor's sister? Do y'all think she's still in the town? Where do y'all think she is? Because that guy that's saying that he's Victor's dad, he always talked about his family, but he never mentions his daughter. Where do y'all think she might be?
Mm, mm.
That's a good question.
Great
You
question.
know, they are not exploring that as in depth as they need. I don't think she escaped that reality. I do believe you're headed in the right direction, that she's still there, but in what condition? Is she's a part of the monster hive? Because if they spare Randall, it's easy to say that they have spared other people. And so
Mm.
surely they could have spared her, because they need her to get after Victor. And if Victor is this linchpin, like I think he is, and the monsters are strategic, they could very well bring Victor's sister back to try to draw Victor out. So I think she's going to show up before the season is out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I
And
agree. That's a great theory for sure. I think like what Candace you were saying earlier on, like these little things are triggers. I think Victor's gonna have to be like the Daenerys. Like he did not come to spin the wheel; he's coming to break the wheel. So I think he's gonna have to be like a Daenerys or a Luke Skywalker in a sense to kind of break the pattern, break the simulation, break the resetting. But I think they're, like you said, Doctor, they're gonna have his sister as a wild card in case Victor starts remembering everything and getting his confidence back. It's kind of that last, okay, well, this is going to shake you up and you're not going to be able to do nothing about it type thing. I think they're holding it in their pocket for sure.
and it makes me wonder, because I was like, is she, because she had been living over there in them cabins? Because who was staying at these cabins, who grew them fruits and vegetables over there? And it was obvious to me those scarecrow things that they were up to protect whoever was staying over there, to keep away spirits or whatever they were keeping away. And I do think that them knocking over those things to use the rod to help Christy out of the trap is going to backfire on the people. But I'm curious to know who the heck was living in those damn cabins over there. What was it? Is there a group of people that have escaped? Is Christopher living over there? Is Tabitha's sister? I mean, because I'm curious to find out who was living over there. And to be honest about it, it really interested me how when they found that area, it just seems like they've set up shop. It's like nobody sat down and paused and said, who might be over here? Like if I went over there and I see food growing, I see cabins, I'm going to be very leery about going over there. And then if I did go over there, I probably was send a very large party to make sure that they're okay. They only sent what, 3 people? I would have sent about 10 people over there, but like, we're gonna collect this food, make sure it's enough people over here in case something goes on. I just, that was kind of weird to me, how they would do something like that in that particular situation. Um,
Yeah, it was reminding me of back what I was talking about earlier to you all when I was over your house about the whole Ankui theory and the Native American theory
mm,
about Fromville. Because as we know, everybody who comes from Fromville is from they're from North America, whether it was they came from Canada or somewhere over there in the north. They're all from North America. And on Kui, I'm forgetting the indigenous language that it derived from, but it derives when you Google it from one of the Native American languages. And so
Mhm.
just the fact that they were over there in a place, and even Jay said it, oh, this looks like some sacred type, so on and so forth, right? So it's like they're kind of upsetting the things that the people, natives, whatever, native people of Fromville have put in place to kind of ward off evil spirits or vibes or so on and so forth. So I'm wondering if they're going to do anything with that connection, because them kind of breaking that down to save themselves just gave me a eerie theory, kind of like how in early Native American history, when Europeans came over and took down monuments and everything that they built and genocided them basically. So I'm wondering if they're going to do any connection with that, because I feel like that's too much of a coincidence as well.
I like that.
And then with Victor's dad talking about, oh, this all happened after that they took some mushrooms, or I guess it was acid, but a lot of
Yeah.
people do mushrooms and acid and all those other things to be in tune with that other part of self that we're not able to reach when we're
The
fully in
metaphysical.
control of our bodies, which
Yeah.
a lot of people say, that's in the history. People go out and eat cactuses and all this other stuff to do that. So it's just these odd connections. So I don't know if it's witchcraft versus, okay, this might be a whole different type of spiritual, different culture that we never learn about in school or anything, and it's foreign to us.
I like that. That's really interesting. And it kind of, I guess it kind of a good segue. Somebody put a comment up and they said, I think Ellis will end up killing Fatima like Boyd had to kill his wife, right?
Mhm.
And what do y'all think is happening to Fatima? And what do you think is going to happen? Do you think somebody's going to discover what she's doing? What do y'all think is happening to her, first of all?
I think we're beginning to see the beginning process of how some of the monsters became monsters. They're showing us a story of how these people transform. Fatima is becoming cannibalistic. She's becoming more hungry for death, like by eating the rotten food. And we noticed when the people were running out of food, they got hysterical. Who's to say that these other folks had not become cannibalistic, that they started eating some of the other people to survive when they ran out of food or whatever?
Mhm.
And I think that we're beginning to see the beginning process of how the monsters became monsters, because they never really entertained how these people became monsters that still exist. And I think that's what we're seeing with Fatima. We're seeing the beginning process of how people became monsters.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Especially
Yeah,
with the part when she's like, I could not get pregnant. I feel like they keep harping on that every episode. I hear that she wasn't able to get pregnant. Like, okay, if it's supposed to be a miracle thing, you say it once and it's over, but they keep saying it every single episode. So yeah, I would. It's she might be on her transformation.
yeah, yeah. And the thing I'm interested to see is when people find out what she is doing. I can't wait to see the reactions, because I think they're setting it up for there to be a major rift between I don't want to say the houses, but a major rift. Like Boyd, I think it's going to come to a point where people are challenging his leadership because people are constantly dying. He left Randall behind. He's allowed Sarah to be alive, and some people still don't like that. And then I think even with Fatima, if Ellis has to make a decision about his wife, and then Boyd has to get involved with it, I think they're really setting us up to where we might see town versus town type situation kind of forming. And like I said, I'm really curious to see what is going on with her. Is she actually pregnant? You know, or is it that she thinks she's pregnant because she's making this transformation? I guess she doesn't have a cycle and she throwing morning sickness. Maybe she may not be pregnant and they think she is. So I'm just curious to see where they're going to take that with her.
Yeah, because when I think, okay, if I'm looking in TV show history and I'm looking at all the shows I watch, when people start turning into vampires, when they start turning into werewolves, when they start turning into all these other creatures, like when I watch Return of the Lycan and all that stuff, there's always this part in cinema to where they highlight when the person used to like certain things and they should be able to like them, but then they start showing us them not being able to handle that anymore. One main thing I can think of is Twilight. Okay, when Bella was pregnant with that vampire baby and she tried to eat and she couldn't eat and all of that happened, and then she got a whiff of some blood, and then she started drinking some blood in a big QT cup. So they do this a lot in cinema to where they show us this transformation type, like portion to where they're starting to not like the things that they're used to liking, and they're starting to like the things that what they're transforming into like. So I think you're spot on with that, doctor, for sure, because I'm just thinking about in TV they do that a lot.
Mhm, mhm. So, where do you think they're going to take the show forward with? Or I guess I should say this: what is one thing that you're looking forward to seeing in the next episode, moving forward? With the show.
I'm looking for answers. I'm tired of this throwing wet rice on the wall and see what's sticking. They keep on taking us to these cliffhangers where they start
Right.
things and don't finish
Yeah.
it. I think they need to start closing off some loose ends and moving us in the right direction. Because if they stay at this level, you're going to get a lot of people frustrated to the point where they might not keep on watching if they don't start closing off some of these loose ends.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I could definitely see that. What about you guys?
You said it. I'm with you. I was gonna say answers too. So we need answers.
Yeah. Well, if you like, if I had a couple of things like in particular that I'm looking forward to, um, I guess who's going to go after this doll, because Victor, he seems like he's going to be hell bent on that they got to find this doll. So I'm wondering who's going to volunteer to go find this doll. Would this just be a Sarah and him thing? Which I don't know if he would just go with Sarah by himself down there looking for the doll. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the town's reaction when they find out that Boyd abandoned Randall out there and kind of left him on his own. You look forward to anything, Candace?
I'm looking forward to people finding out that Tabitha was able to get back to get
Oh
out.
yeah. Because what is everybody's reaction going to be? Is this going to
Let's
be
get to that tree right now.
that tree? Well,
So
the
that,
lighthouse, yeah, that tree
yeah,
in that lighthouse,
to get to the tree, to get to the lighthouse, and let's all jump off.
yeah. Because even that night, like when she got back to the colony house when she first got back, she was like, "Oh, can I get a room to go upstairs and talk to my husband?" I'm like, "You ain't talking to your husband. What the fuck? Where were you at? I need to know right now.
Right.
Where did you go? How did you get back? Because obviously, if you got back in, that means you got out. I would have been like, where did you go? Break it down. What was going on with
Well,
you?
they don't know that she got out. They just all they know is that she
Mm.
left and was gone for some days
But she
Probably
came
been
back
in like
with
the
new
woods
people.
or something.
But shoot,
She
she
did
came
come
back
back
with
with
new
new
people.
people. That's
Yeah,
true.
in an ambulance.
yeah.
In an
So
ambulance. That part.
yeah, so but yeah, so hopefully, moving forward, they give us some good stuff. I'm still enjoying the show. We still got what, 6 episodes to go.
Jeez, really?
Mhm.
Yeah, they're giving us 10 episodes, so we still got 6 more to go, to kind of see what's moving forward. Um, I had one more question, but I kind of lost my train of thought.
Well, until next time.
Well,
You know what also, Pastor, I think that, this boy in white, we just can't erase his significance in here, because even when Tabitha went to the lighthouse, it was the boy in white that pushed her, and maybe he's a key to them, teleporting. But also, what if it's the boy in white that's on the phone, that's guiding them, that's giving them some, some warnings about what's to come? So I'm just curious on how much significance they're gonna put the boy in white in the storyline.
Yeah, because I'm also wondering too, like at the end of episode 1, after Jim made that satellite thing and he was like, your wife shouldn't be digging that hole, Jim. So it's like, how do we know who is for them and who is for the Fromville? It's yeah, we just need answers. So
yeah,
yeah, they
we
got
don't know. And even like the monsters, like how is it that they seem like they're getting more intelligent and getting very strategic now? When they talked about the monsters in the past, earlier on in the episode or the seasons, oh, they screeched. They were just kind of animalistic, right? And now here they are, they transform to talking. Now these jokers is setting traps, letting the animals loose so the people could run the town, land in the middle of the street because they knew the ambulance was coming. But then once again, a lot of this stuff, like I said, how do they know these things? You know what I'm saying? How is it that, like, and I keep going back to it, when Boyd yells, "You can't break me." How do they know he said that? How do they know that Tabitha's digging the hole? How do they know the ambulance is coming? How is it that these things that are just supposed to be regular monsters or whatever seem to be almost one step ahead of them now? You know what I'm saying? And it,
yeah.
like I said, it makes it like, it almost makes it like it is some damn simulation, right? But it's
Mhm.
Yeah.
so, I don't, it's hard for me to wrap my mind around that because I feel like it would be too easy. But then there's a side of me too, though. It's like, if it's just witchcraft, the one thing I don't like about whenever stories are about like witchcraft and stuff, it allows them to not explain stuff, because if all you have to do is say, well, it was black magic, and you can just not explain why certain things happen. Oh, well, that's just how it is. It's just magic, right? Or at least hopefully, if it is a simulation, that we could get answers as to why, who created it, and why they chose the people they did, and why they putting them through the things that they're putting them through, if it is in fact a simulation, because we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah. But I want to thank you guys for joining us today. Enjoyed it. We may try to do a live later on this week. If you're watching this, what is a good day of the week to do a live? Because one of the things we're trying to do is up our game with our videos, have guests on, do lives, interact with you guys. What's a good day of the week that would work for you guys as subscribers to check out and to do a live, so to speak? And we want to thank you guys for tuning in. And as always, our watch has ended. Appreciate you guys. Y'all hang on for a second.